The dream is really to continue to try to make good music. Yeah, that's the dream. To keep working, to not rest on success, not rest on the Grammy or the Grammy nominations or whatever, and just say, okay, now I can just lay back and be Gregory Porter. I still want to live, experience life, feel it, and write about it. I still want to think about the people that are on the underneath. I still want to think about, you know, mutual respect. I still want to think about the things that I'm thinking about now, the personal human stories that I write about. I still want to be that way. And so I think to just consider and think about my success completely is can take away from that in a way. Yeah.
I do not agree. This is not for me. No, musical genocide. I will not commit, nor will I submit to musical genocide. This is not for me. I won't let it be. No musical genocide. Give me a blues song, tell the world what's wrong. What about the gospel singer giving those messages of love? Oh, and the soul man with your heart in the palm of his hands, telling his stories of love and pain. Oh, I do not agree. Put it down now, David.
I'm not a critic. I'm not a music critic. I love all types of music. But if there's not a balance of something soulful and heartfelt and thoughtful, if everything is just party, and I say, hell, I like to party, but if everything is party, then there's a void of something soulful and thoughtful and real. A story about love or mama or home, or you understand what I'm saying? If something is not grounded to the dirt, then there's an imbalance. That's a commentary probably about the imbalance of probably the music industry in a way. Yeah.
I do not agree. This is not for me. No musical genocide. I will not commit, nor will I submit to musical genocide.
It has to be, in a way, a culture that supports the music and supports the people that make the music. Otherwise, the music will die. If a song doesn't get sung, that's the death of a song.
And the soul man with your heart in the palm of his hand, telling his stories of love and pain. Whoa, I do not agree.
Secondarily, the message of the song is about the people. if music is culture and culture is people, the lyric is, I do not agree, this is not for me, musical genocide, but it also means I do not agree with the genocide of people as well, which is, you know, this idea of the eradication of a certain people, that this idea crops up in places still in the world, and so I do not agree, this is not for me, musical genocide. Yeah.
One of the first things that happened was someone showed me a manifesto written by the founder of Blue Note Records, Alfred Lyon and his friends, that they wrote in 1939. And they talked about, to paraphrase the manifesto, it's about being dedicated to recording authentic artists and allowing them uncompromising freedom of expression. That's the manifesto. That's the business plan for the label. And so Gregory Porter fits right in because he's totally authentic, man. I think he's absorbed a lot of history, and you can hear this. You can figure out who he listened to when he was younger, the singers, but he puts it together in a way that's brand new, and he's not like anybody else who's out there, but it speaks to a whole lot of people. Gregory Porter around the world has sold 500,000 copies of Liquid Spirit. That makes him, he's like up there with Katy Perry, you know? That makes him a big global star. My concern, to be honest with you, is that we can continue to make records. I'm still a musician. I come from a record-making background. I can see that as sales decrease, it becomes harder to pay for the records. Some jazz records only sell 2,500, 3,000 copies. That means you have to, just to break even, you have to make the records for under $10,000. That's very, very hard to do if you're going to pay musicians, if you're going to pay engineers, if you're going to go into a good it's impossible to do if you're going to go into a good recording studio and do it. And that worries me because I want people to continue to make records.
Greg is great because, you know, he has people from all over loving him and all different ages, you know. My grandmother and my aunt know who Gregory Porter is, you know. They don't listen to jazz at all. You know what I mean? And that's great to see, you know, when somebody can come out and really break through, and people in the mainstream world who don't listen, because jazz could be like a little secret society. If you're in it, you're in it. If you're not in it, you don't know what's going on, you know. And he's managed to break those boundaries, you know. And it's really great to see, you know. I'm really proud of him.
I do not agree. This is not for me. No musical genocide. I will not commit, nor will I submit to musical genocide. This is not for me. I won't let it be, no musical genocide. Give me a blues song, tell the world what's wrong, and the the gospel singer, giving those messages of love. Oh, and the soul.
Particularly with black music these days, they tend to glamorize the ignorant part of black music. And a lot of black people see that and they want to be glamorized too. So they start doing the same thing. There's music that's not very intelligent, music that has no thought, music that just talks about the same thing, money, chicks, and buying cars or whatever it is, in the club, drinking. You know, there's like 4 subjects that pretty much black music is talking about right now.
I do not agree. No. I do not agree. No. I do not agree. No. I do not agree. Thank ya!
The labels that are supposed to be doing stuff with good R&B and good soul and good whatever aren't even doing it, you know what I mean? So Blue Note's kind of taking that and it's like, okay, we're gonna do everything, you know what I mean? So I love it, you know, it's great. I garnished black radio with a lot of different things, so you can't say it's one thing, really. You know, you can't listen to that album and come away saying it's an R&B album, or it's a jazz album, or it's a hip hop album. It's like, it's a lot of stuff, you know? So that's what the vibe was. Winning the R&B Album of the Year is amazing, especially when you think about the times we're in where people could care less about a band, about instruments and real music, you know. This is the worst time for real musicians in the history of music. This is the absolutely worst time. So the fact that I was even on the ballot is amazing, you know, but this is something I've worked at for years. I've been collaborating with artists since my first album, you know, Bilal's on my very first record in 2001. You know, and he's been playing with my trio ever since then. You know, I've done a lot of stuff with Lettucey and, you know, Dwelle, Music Soul Child, all these different people. You know, Common used to come check me out in Brooklyn, you know, at my little shows and stuff like that, Q-Tip. You know, so I've always had that mixture thing happening, and it's something that grew, and it was just amazing to see it come to fruition and actually win an actual Grammy for that kind of record.
For all the marketing and publicity that we organized for him, the single most effective thing that happened was that Questlove tweeted, "You must buy this album," and then he included the link at iTunes to go to Robert's album. So in the first week, we predicted that it was going to sell about 2,500 albums, and it would have, except Questlove's tweet got to so many people that he sold 16,000 records. So not only was it the top of the jazz charts, but it was in the top 10 pop albums for 2 weeks.
I Stand Alone is basically, you know, it can mean a few different things. It could mean, you know, standing alone, meaning it's okay to be an individual, who you are. You could be different in a room full of people who are the same. Or if people don't understand you, that's fine too, because that just means you are doing something different, and that's great. You know, standing alone means you could be overcoming something that nobody around you that you specifically can probably relate to. You know, I have a video for that. That's, you know, people are at the end of it talking about they stand alone. Somebody's on there saying, I stand alone because I have AIDS. I stand alone because I was in domestic violence relationship. I stand alone because I suffer from depression. And it's not necessarily standing alone like you're the only person in the world with those issues, but it's like, being at one with yourself and knowing this is what you're going through, and knowing that, you are the individual that God made you, and you're standing in the face of adversity. You're standing up for it. You know what I mean? So that's basically what it is. And, it can go from that to being in the music industry, in the artistic world, whatever you do, You don't have to be like the cookie cutter. Everybody else is doing this thing, so I have to do that thing too. You want to be different, and you are different. It's not even like you want to be different. It's just like you are different. You can't help that, and that's okay. So stand alone and feel good about it. It's all about keeping it moving, and allowing self-expression. And, the things that people fell in love with music from the beginning, Blue Note is still about, So many labels now are so business-oriented. It's just about the business. And every label is trying to, put out the same person, Every label is looking for the same person. It's like, how many more Chris Browns do we need, So it's great that Blue Note's doing what it's doing, and not even just sticking to jazz, but just music in general, because it's needed nowadays.